The unexpected windhoek, the auction hall, was loud, filled with the noise of people talking, laughing, and calling out bids. Lights from the big screens flashed across the room, showing pictures of the items for sale: rare metals, small cargo, ships, and old mining tools. Alex Carter walked in, hands in his pockets. He was not here to buy anything. He was just a junk trader, the kind who collected broken space equipment and sold the good parts. Most of the ships here were way too expensive. For him, still, he liked to watch rich buyers throw money around. It was free entertainment. The auctioneer, a tall man with a silver jacket, banged his hammer. Next item, a classy starship found drifting near the outer belt. She's, let's just say, unique. On the big screen, an image appeared. The ship looked old, maybe even falling apart. The hull was scratched, the paint faded, and one wing looked slightly bent. A few people in the hall laughed. Starting bid 10,000 credits, the auctioneer announced. Nobody raised a hand. No one wanted this piece of junk. Alex smirked. He whispered to himself, 10,000? Not even worth 1,000. The auctioneer tried again. 8,000 credits. Silence. The crowd wasn't interested. People were more focused on the next item on the list. The auctioneer's smile faded. All right, 5,000. Still no takers. Alex felt a strange urge, maybe boredom, maybe just curiosity. He raised his hand lazily. 1,000 credits. He said with a grin, thinking it would make people laugh. The crowd chuckled. A few looked at him like he was crazy, but the auctioneer's eyes lit up. 1,000 credits. Any other bids? The auctioneer called. He waited. Silence again. Going once, going twice. Sold to the man in the back. The hammer hit the table with a sharp clang. Alex's grin froze. Oh, wait, what? People turned to look at him. Some shook their heads, others smirked. A large man near the front muttered to his friend, "Poor guy has no idea." Before Alex could protest, a helper handed him a data chip. "Congratulations, sir. Here's your ship key." Alex blinked. Ship key. I didn't, but the helper was already moving on. 2 hours later, Alex stood inside a quiet docking bay. In front of him was the ship he had accidentally bought. Up close, it looked worse. Dust covered the surface, and strange symbols were carved along the side. The design was unlike any human-made craft. He walked slowly toward the airlock, his boots echoing on the metal floor. The bay was strangely cold. The ship's door slid open with a slow hiss, as if it hadn't been used in years. Inside, the lights flickered weakly. The air smelled faintly sweet, like some kind of strange flower. The control room was small, with dark glass panels instead of buttons. A chair in the middle faced forward, looking out at the docking bay doors. As he stepped in, the floor under. His feet gave a small vibration like the ship had sighed. "Okay." "Weird," Alex muttered. Then he heard it. A voice, soft, feminine. "Who dares to claim my home?" Alex froze. His eyes scanned the room. "Hello? Who's there?" Silence. He laughed nervously. Must be some old recording. But the voice came again, this time closer. You touched my ship." Alex turned toward the sound, then saw them, two glowing eyes in the shadow of the hallway behind the cockpit. They were too high to belong to a child, and they shimmered like silver under moonlight. A figure stepped forward, a woman tall, with long silver hair flowing down to her waist. Her skin was pale, almost glowing in the dim light, and her clothes looked like they were made from strands of liquid metal. Alex's mouth went dry. Hi." She tilted her head, studying him. "You are?" "Not who I expected." "Yeah, well, I didn't exactly plan to buy this ship," Alex said, trying to sound calm. Her eyes narrowed. "You think you bought it. You are wrong." The ship chose you. He frowned. The ship chose me. She took another step closer. The floor seemed to respond, small pulses of light running along the walls when she moved. It has not chosen in a long time. Many have tried. All have failed. Alex laughed awkwardly. Okay, I think I need to talk to the auction guy. Maybe get a refund. The ship's door slammed shut behind him with a loud thunk. He spun around. Hey, open the door. The woman's voice was calm, almost cold. It will not open. Not until you understand. The lights in the control room brightened, and for a moment, Alex thought he saw the walls breathing. A deep hum filled the air. What is this? He whispered. She stepped into the pilot's seat and touched one of the dark panels. Instantly, symbols lit up, moving like water across the screen. My name is Lyra. This ship is alive. And now, so are you, in ways you do not yet know. Alex's heart pounded. Look, I'm just a junk trader. I don't want trouble. Lyra's gaze locked onto his fend. Then you should not have placed your hand in the game of fate. The ship vibrated again. Somewhere in the distance, a low alarm beeped. Lyra's expression darkened. They have found us, she said quietly, and they will not stop until you are gone. Alex swallowed hard. Who's they? Lyra didn't answer. She only whispered, the ones who killed the last keeper. The mysterious passenger, the low beeping grew louder, like a heart beating faster. The ship's lights dimmed to a red glow. Alex's eyes darted around. Okay, either your ship's having a panic attack, or I am. Lyra didn't laugh. She moved to the control seat, her long silver hair brushing over the glowing panels. Her fingers slender and almost too perfect touched the surface. And the beeping stopped instantly. You are not safe here, she said. Her voice was calm. But there was an edge in it, like a warning. Alex crossed his arms. Safe from what, exactly? And why do you keep acting like this is my problem? She looked up at him, her silver eyes locking on his. Because it is your problem now. You carry the ship's bond. That makes you a target. Alex blinked. Bond. Target. You're gonna have to start making sense, lady. I am not a lady, she said softly. I am Lyra of the Kalari. I do not live inside the ship. I am the ship. Alex stared at her. Right. And I'm the king of Mars. But the ship seemed to respond to her words. The walls gave a slow ripple, like water disturbed by wind. He stepped back. Okay, that's creepy. Lyra stood, her movement graceful, almost inhuman. I have lived here since the last keeper fell. For years, I slept, waiting for someone the ship would accept. Keeper, Alex repeated. Look, I didn't keep anything. I just raised my hand, and now I'm broke. She walked past him, toward the narrow hallway at the back. Follow me. Against his better judgment, Alex followed. The hallway seemed to stretch longer than the outside of the ship should allow. The air grew warmer, and the faint sweet smell he noticed earlier became stronger, almost dizzying. They reached a small chamber. The walls pulsed faintly with light, and in the center sat a sphere made of dark crystal. It floated in the air, turning slowly. Lyra placed her palm on it, and the sphere brightened. A wave of strange warmth rushed through the room. Alex felt it in his chest, like something alive had just touched him. This is the heart, she said. It is alive, and now it knows you. Alex stepped back. Knows me? What does that even mean? Lyra's gaze was unreadable. It means it will protect you, and it means it will call to you, even in your sleep. You will feel its thoughts. As your own, you will dream its memories. Alex shook his head. Nope, not happening. I'm gonna find the nearest station, sell this ship, And you cannot sell what you are, Lyra said. Her voice was soft, but her words hit like cold metal. The bond is sealed. If the ship dies, you die. If you leave it, it will pull you back. This is the truth. Alex stared at her. She didn't look like she was lying. In fact, she didn't look like she even knew how to lie. All right, he said slowly. So, let's say I believe you. Why would anyone want me dead? Lyra's silver eyes darkened. Because of who killed the last keeper, and because of what the ship carries. The floor shuddered beneath them. A low hum filled the air. Lyra turned her head slightly, as if listening to something far away. They are closer now, she murmured. Alex's heartbeat quickened. They. You mean the people from before? The ones who killed the last keeper. She nodded once. They are not people. Not anymore. They are the broken tide. Raiders who serve the warlord core. He hunts the ship because it holds the map to something he craves. What's that? Alex asked. She hesitated, then whispered, the gate of dawning. Sounds like a vacation resort, Alex muttered, trying to hide his nerves. Lyra didn't smile. It is not. It is a weapon, one that can burn worlds from the inside out. Alex's stomach dropped. And you're saying I'm in the middle of this because I waved my hand at the wrong auction? You did not choose the bond, she said. The bond chose you. The ship's lights flickered again. This time, a sharp alarm sounded higher, faster. A small screen lit up with a blurry image of a ship approaching. Alex's mouth went dry. I don't suppose that's a delivery shuttle bringing us snacks. Lyra's expression was hard. No, that is the first hunter, and he has found us. She moved back to the pilot's seat and placed both hands on the controls. The panels lit up with flowing alien symbols. Sit, she ordered, pointing to a second chair. I'm not a pilot, you do not need to be. The ship will guide you. Alex sat down reluctantly. The seat felt warm, like it had been waiting. For him, suddenly, strange lines of light crawled up the armrests and wrapped around his wrists. Hey, what is this? Lyra's voice cut through the alarm. Do not fight it. The ship needs to learn you. The lights grew brighter. For a moment, Alex saw something impossible, flashes of alien stars. Battles fought in deep black space. A man's voice shouting in a language he didn't know. Then, the vision was gone. The screen now showed the hunters. Ship drawing closer. Its shape was jagged, predatory, with glowing red eyes at the front. Lyra's tone was calm, but her words sent a shiver through him. If you wish to live, Alex Carter, you must help me kill them, the first threat the hunters. Ship filled the screen, a dark shape with sharp wings like the blades of a knife. Its red lights blinked in a slow, menacing rhythm, as if it already knew it had trapped its prey. Alex gripped the armrests. That thing looks like it eats smaller ships for breakfast. Lyra's hands danced across the glowing panels. It has eaten many. We will not be one of them. The hunter's voice crackled through the combs, low and mechanical. Deliver the vessel. Deliver the woman. You have 1 minute. Alex leaned closer to Lyra. Maybe they just want to talk. Her silver eyes narrowed. No, the broken tide never talks. They take. The hunter ship fired a warning shot, a beam of red light that passed so close it burned the darkness. The blast rocked Alex's seat. Okay, that's not friendly, Alex muttered. Lyra pressed her palm against the main console. The ship responded instantly. The lights inside changed to a deep blue. The walls seemed to hum in a steady rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. What's it doing? Alex asked. Listening, Lyra said. It is deciding how to run. The hunter ship fired again, this time, a direct hit. The shockwave shook the entire cabin. Sparks burst from one of the overhead panels. Decide faster, Alex shouted. Lyra ignored him. She closed her eyes, and the hum in the ship grew louder. Alex could feel it under his skin now, pulsing in time with his heartbeat. Then the floor shifted beneath them. The cockpit's front window darkened as streams of blue light began swirling outside, wrapping the ship like ribbons. The ship leaped. Forward, Alex gasped. We're moving. No, we're jumping. Outside, the stars blurred into streaks. Space itself bent around them, and for a brief, dizzy moment, Alex felt like he was falling in every direction at once. Not a jump, Lyra said quietly. A phase slip, faster and harder to follow. Alex tried to breathe, but the strange sensation made his stomach turn. Great. So, how long do we? A sharp alarm cut him off. The hunter's ship was still behind them. Somehow. It had followed. Lyra's voice was tense now. They have a tether lock. They are riding our slipstream. Slipstream? Is that bad? It means they will not let go until one of us dies. The hunter's ship fired again, this time with a different Wapana, glowing net of energy that spread wide, racing toward them. The ship reacted on its own. Panels opened along the sides, revealing sleek, organic-looking fins that glowed with pale green light. With a sudden roll, it slipped under the net just before it closed. Alex grinned, despite himself. Nice move. That was not me, Lyra said. The ship does not like to be caught. The hunter adjusted quickly, firing 2 more nets. The ship dodged again, weaving through the streaking currents of the faceslip. But each time, the hunter grew closer. They're learning, Alex said. And I don't like how fast they're learning. Lyra's expression was unreadable. Then we must be faster. She reached for a set of symbols on the console, but paused. Alex, I need your mind. He blinked. My what? The ship fights best with 2 voices, one for the heart, one for the hands. You will be the hands. Alex laughed nervously. Yeah, sure, because I totally know how to fly an alien life ship that thinks for itself. Lyra didn't smile. You will. Not fly it. You will feel it. Before he could argue, the lights from the armrests crawled up his arms again, wrapping around his skin like warm vines. A rush of sound filled his ears, not from the speakers, but from inside his head. He could feel the ship. He felt its anger at the hunter, its desire to move, to escape, to strike. And without thinking, his hands slid across the armrests, guiding the ship into a sudden roll that dodged another blast. That was you, Lyra said, her voice almost approving. Alex stared at his hands. I didn't even think. I just knew where to go. That is the bond, she said. The hunter's ship was gaining again. Alex could feel its presence now, sharp, cold, hungry. It was more than just a machine. Something alive pulsed inside. It, like a predator chasing prey. A thought rose in Alex's mind, one that didn't feel entirely his turn. Strike. He hesitated. Lyra. The ship wants to attack. She glanced at him. Do you trust it? I barely trust my own cooking. Trust it, she said simply. Alex took a breath. The thought grew stronger, guiding his hands. He spun the ship hard to the left, dropping out of the phase slip in a flash of light. The hunter followed instantly, but they had exited into an asteroid field. The ship darted between massive spinning rocks, twisting and rolling in impossible ways. The hunter tried to match the moves, but the tighter the space, the closer it came to collision. One asteroid shadow hid their ship for a split second. Alex felt the opening. He moved without thinking, lighting the ship under the rock. Then, swinging behind it to line up a shot, Lyra's hands flared with pale light. The ship's sides opened, and it fired 2 organic burst spheres of glowing energy that struck the hunter's front. The blast tore through one of its wings. It spun, wildly crashing into an asteroid with a thunderous explosion. The field fell silent. Alex exhaled, slumping back in his seat. We won. Lyra looked at the drifting debris. We survived. That is not the same thing. Alex frowned. You're saying more will come. She nodded slowly. The broken tide never sends just one hunter. And now they know the bond is active. The hum of the ship grew quieter, almost as if it were resting. Alex glanced at Lyra. So, what happens now? Her silver eyes met his. Now, Alex Carter. We run faster than we ever have before. And somewhere deep in the ship, the heart pulsed once stronger than before, as if it too had made a decision. The bond, the asteroid field, was far behind them now, but Alex still felt the echo of the battle in his chest. The ship glided quietly. Through the dark, its lights dimmed. As if it were catching its breath, Lyra sat in the pilot's seat, her eyes closed, hands resting lightly on the console. She seemed calm, but Alex knew better. Every so often, her jaw tightened and her fingers twitched small signs she was listening to something he couldn't hear. Are we safe now? Alex asked, his voice breaking the silence. For now, she said, without opening her eyes. But safety is a short thing in the places we travel. Alex leaned back in his seat. You make it sound like we'll be hunted forever. She opened her eyes and looked at him. If you remain bound to the ship, that is exactly what will happen. The bond, she kept saying it like it was some kind of unbreakable law. Alex didn't fully believe her, but he couldn't ignore what had happened. In the battle, the way the ship had moved under his hands, the way he'd known where to go without thinking. He rubbed his wrist where the glowing lines had wrapped around him earlier. So, this bond thing. How does it even work? Lyra stood and moved toward the hallway. Come. Alex followed her reluctantly, his boots tapping against the ship's strange, almost soft floor. They passed the same long corridor as before, but this time, the faint light along the walls pulsed faster, like a heartbeat matching his steps. They entered the chamber with the floating crystal sphere, the heart of the ship. It turned slowly. In the air, its surface alive with faint streams of light. Lyra stepped aside. Touch it. Alex hesitated. Last time I touched something in here, it tried to wire itself into my brain. The ship already knows you, she said. It is only waiting for you to listen. He sighed and stepped forward. The warmth of the sphere touched him before his fingers even made contact. Then, as his skin met its surface, the world around him vanished. He was standing in darkness. No walls, no ship, just endless black. And then light faint, flickering. Like memories forming out of shadow, he saw a man's hands gripping the pilot's chair. Not his own hands, these were larger, rougher, covered in scars. He saw flashes of battleships burning in orbit. Alien soldiers running through smoke, a tall figure in dark armor. Then he heard a voice. Not Lyra's. Hold the line. The bond must survive. The vision shifted. He saw the same man lying on the ship's floor, blood spreading across his chest. Lyra was there, her hair shorter, her face colder. She whispered something to him, a word Alex didn't understand. Then the man's eyes went blank. Alex stumbled back, gasping. He was in the chamber again, the sphere still turning slowly. His hands shook. I saw someone. The last keeper. Lyra nodded. His name was Kale. He fought the broken tide until they broke him, and still. He died to keep the bond alive. Alex stared at the heart of the ship. And now it's my turn, right? Just step into the same hole and hope I last longer. Lyra's expression didn't change. You may last longer, you may not. But Cale did not choose his fate either. The ship called him as it has called you. Alex turned away. This is insane. I didn't ask for any of this. I don't even know why the ship chose me. Lyra tilted her head. Do you believe it was chance? Yes, Alex said flatly. She gave the faintest smile. Then you do not understand the ship. It sees more than your face. It sees what you are. He wanted to argue, but the memory of the battle of his hands moving without thought stopped him. Before he could speak, the ship gave a low hum and a panel opened in the wall. Inside was a strange piece of armor, smooth, dark, and fitted with glowing lines that pulsed faintly like veins. Lyra gestured toward it. Where this? Alex frowned. What is it? The first step to surviving. It will connect you to the ship more deeply. Without it, you will not survive the next hunter. He reluctantly stepped toward it. The armor felt lighter than it looked. As soon as he put it on, it shifted, sealing itself to his body with a faint hiss. The lines of light brightened, matching the rhythm of his pulse. A rush of warmth spread through him along with something else. He could feel the ship more clearly now, like a second heartbeat in the back of his mind. Lyra watched him. Do you feel it? He nodded slowly. It's weird. Like it's alive in my head. It is, she said simply. For a moment, there was silence. Then the ship shuddered. The lights turned red. Alex's stomach dropped. Please tell me that's not what I think it is. Lyra moved to the console by the door, her eyes scanning alien symbols. Her voice was tight. It is another hunter, bigger, faster, and it is not alone. Alex's throat went dry. More than one. She looked at him, her silver eyes cold and steady. The broken tide has learned the bond is awake. They will. Send everything they have until it is gone. Alex glanced down at the glowing armor. Guess I'm not sleeping tonight. Lyra's expression didn't change, but there was something in her voice, a small thread of respect. No, Alex Carter. Tonight, you fight. The pursuit the ship's hum turned into a deep, urgent growl. The red light in the cockpit pulsed faster, matching Alex's quickening heartbeat. Lyra's hands moved across the controls, but her eyes were fixed on the glowing display ahead. 4 red blips appeared on the radar, closing in fast. 4 ships? Alex asked, leaning forward. Yes, Lyra said calmly. For hunters, all broken tide. Alex whistled low. Guess I should be flattered they sent the whole welcoming committee. Lyra didn't smile. Do not be. They will not stop. They will try to cripple the ship, board us, and take the bond. Alex swallowed, and take me with it. The ship shifted under them, gliding forward like a predator stalking prey. But this time, they were not the hunters. They were the hunted. The first hunter ship fired a long-range blast. It streaked past them, close enough to make the hull shiver. Alex gripped the armrests. Okay, I'm ready. Hook me in. Without a word, Lyra pressed a symbol on the console. The glowing lines crawled from his armor into the chair, wrapping around his arms and legs, like living threads. The connection hit him instantly. He could feel the ship's skin under the starlight. He could taste the electric charge in its weapons. He could hear the distant footsteps of the hunters as they moved through space. They're splitting, Alex said, before realizing the words were coming from his mouth. 2 are flanking left, one's trying to box us from the rear, and the leaders ahead to block. Lyra's eyes flicked toward him, the faintest nod of approval. Good. You are seeing as the ship sees. The hunters moved fast, their sharp-winged shapes cutting through the dark like knives. Alex felt the urge to dodge left, but another part of his mind, a part that wasn't fully his, told him to wait. At the last second, he tilted the ship hard right. 2 red beams crossed the space they'd just been in, colliding and scattering energy across the void. That was close, Alex breathed. That was precise. Lyra corrected. The leader's ship fired a pulse wave. The energy slammed into their hull, shaking the whole cabin. The ship groaned, not in pain, but in anger. Alex felt it, the living metal flexing, absorbing the hit, and ready to hit back. "We can't outrun them forever," Alex said. "No." Lyra agreed. "We must break the formation." "How?" She looked at him. "By trusting each other." Alex almost laughed. "You mean that thing where one of us might die if we mess up?" "Yes." "Great," Alex muttered. "No pressure." The hunters closed in again. Alex felt the ship's mind pushing him, not with words, but with instinct. His hands moved, guiding them into a narrow corridor between 2 spinning asteroids. The hunters followed, weaving between the rocks, but the path ahead narrowed sharply, a death trap for anyone going too fast. "Now," Lyra said. Alex tilted the ship sideways, scraping so close to the asteroid that sparks flared off their hull. At the same time, Lyra fired the side thrusters, shooting them upward at a sharp angle. The 2 flanking hunters weren't ready. One clipped a rock, spinning into the other. Both exploded in a spray of fire and metal. "2 down," Alex said. 2 to go." The leader and the rear hunter adjusted quickly, splitting apart to trap them again. The leader moved ahead, launching another energy net. Alex felt the ship tense. This time, instead of dodging, he dove straight toward it. "Are you insane?" Lyra asked. "Probably." At the last second, Alex tilted the ship into a roll. The net grazed past them, but the rear hunter wasn't so lucky. It flew right into the trap meant for Alex, the energy net collapsing around it. The ship shuddered, helpless, as it drifted out of the fight. Only the leader remained. And Alex could feel its presence, stronger than ever, cold, sharp, patient. "He's not like the others," Alex said. "No," Lyra agreed. "That one is alive inside the metal. A living pilot, a hunter lord." The leader's ship surged forward, weapons glowing. Alex could feel its confidence, its hunger. It wanted the kill. He looked at Lyra. "We can't just run. We end this." Lyra's expression didn't change, but her eyes brightened slightly. "Then follow my mind." The connection between them deepened. Alex felt her thoughts sharp, clear, full of intent. Together, they moved the ship like one body. They feinted left. The hunter followed. They spun right. The hunter matched. "Too close," Lyra said in his mind, not with her voice. Alex didn't answer. He just dove straight down, heading toward a small moon below. The leader followed, closing the gap. At the last moment, Alex pulled the ship upward, skimming the moon's surface. Lyra fired all rear weapons at once, the blast reflecting off the moon's icy surface and slamming into the hunter. The explosion lit up the black sky. Silence returned. The red light in the cockpit faded to calm blue. Alex slumped in his chair, breathing hard. "That's all of them for now," Lyra said. "The broken tide will send more. Always more." Alex stared out at the quiet stars. Why? Why not just give up and find some other poor fool to chase? Lyra turned to him, her silver eyes steady. "Because the ship chose you for what is coming. You are not random, Alex Carter. You are the last map to the gate of dawning." Alex frowned. "You keep saying that like I'm supposed to know what it means." "You will," Lyra said, "when the gate calls for you." The hum of the ship deepened again, as if it knew the road ahead. It was already moving toward it. The battle space was quiet again, but Alex had learned that silence out here was never safe. It was the kind of silence that waited for something to happen. Lyra sat in the pilot's seat, her fingers brushing the controls like she was stroking the strings of an invisible instrument. Her eyes were distant, focused on something Alex couldn't. "See, you feel it too, don't you?" Alex asked quietly. She nodded once. "A storm is coming. The warlord is close." Alex leaned back in his chair. "You mean the warlord? The guy who killed the last keeper?" "The same," Lyra said, "and he will not come alone." The hum of the ship changed low, uneasy. A red shimmer spread across the view screen as the radar lit up with not one, not two, but 12 enemy signatures. Alex's throat tightened. "Ah, that's a little more than last time." Lyra's voice stayed calm. "He brings his fleet to finish what his hunters could not." The lead ship appeared in the distance, a massive warcruiser shaped like a black spear, its surface covered in glowing crimson runes. Smaller ships flanked it, moving in perfect formation, like predators circling their prey. Even without the bond, Alex could feel the weight of that cruiser. It wasn't just a ship, it was the warlord's throne. The cum crackled to life, and a deep, gravelly voice filled the cabin. "Keeper," it said, slow and deliberate, "I offer you one mercy. Surrender the ship and the woman. I will make your death quick." Alex smirked despite his nerves. "Sorry, I'm kind of attached." To both, the voice rumbled like distant thunder. "Then you will learn how long a man can scream." The cum went dead. Lyra glanced at Alex. When the warlord speaks, he means every word. Alex tightened his grip on the armrests. "Then let's make sure he doesn't get the chance." The first wave hit them, for smaller ships darting forward, their weapons firing in bright, stinging bursts. Alex felt the ship's mind react instantly, weaving between the incoming fire with impossible speed. Lyra's voice cut through the tension. "Shields at 60%. Keep them off the heart." Alex didn't need her to explain. The heart was more than the ship's core, it was the bond itself. If it was destroyed, both of them were done. 2 hunters broke off and tried to flank. Then Alex felt their presence in the bond like knives sliding toward his ribs. Without thinking, he rolled the ship hard right, letting the enemy shots pass harmlessly into the void. Lyra followed with a counter-strike, organic plasma bursts that tore one hunter apart. The second barely escaped, but the warlord's cruiser didn't move yet. It simply hovered, watching. "He's testing us," Alex realized. Lyra's jaw tightened. "He wants to see how we bleed." The second wave came, 6 ships, this time moving in a deadly net. Alex pushed the bond harder, feeling every vibration of the ship's skin, every shift in the currents of space. He threaded them between the attackers, grazing enemy fire but never taking a direct hit. Lyra struck back whenever there was an opening, each shot precise, each kill clean, but the numbers were wearing them down. Shields dropped to 30%. The ship's hum grew weaker. Then, without warning, the warlord's cruiser moved. It surged forward with terrifying speed for something its size, its front opening like the jaws of some colossal beast. Inside, a swirling red sphere of energy, pulse charging for a single, devastating shot. Lyra's voice was sharp now. "Alex F., that weapon fires, there will be nothing left to save." The bond flared hot in his mind, urging him to act. He dived the ship toward the cruiser, weaving through the chaos of the smaller ships. "What are you doing?" Lyra demanded. "Getting close enough to shut him up," Alex said. They raced straight into the cruiser's shadow. Enemy fire rained down from every side, but Alex moved with the ship like they were one body. He slid them between the glowing spines of the cruiser, heading for the weapon core. The warlord's voice returned, colder now. bold, but stupid. The core's glow brightened seconds from firing. Lyra slammed her hand on the console. Alex, give me the bond. All of it. He didn't know what she meant, but he felt it, her mind pulling his strength, his will, pouring it into the ship. The lights inside blazed white. The hum became a roar. The ship's sides split open, revealing long, sharp tendrils of living metal. In one violent motion, they drove into the cruiser's hull, straight into the weapon core. The explosion was blinding. The shockwave hurled them away, tumbling end over end through space. Alex's head rang. Did we? We broke the core, Lyra said, her voice strained. But the cruiser still lives. The damage to their own ship was worse than Alex realized. The walls were dim, flickering. The air smelled sharp, metallic like blood, but not human. Then he saw Lyra slump forward in her seat. Silver blood dripping from her temple. Lyra? He shouted. She looked at him weakly. The ship is hurt, and so am I. Alex's gut twisted. He remembered her words from before. The ship dies, she dies. If she dies. The bond pulsed in his chest, almost painfully. Outside, the warlord's cruiser loomed again, its weapons slowly recharging. The smaller ships regrouped for the killing blow. Alex clenched his teeth. All right, then we're not done yet. He gripped the controls knot as a passenger, but as the keeper hand pushed the bond to its limit, somewhere deep inside, the ship answered. The cockpit shook under the weight of enemy fire. The warlord's fleet closed in, the red glow of their weapons lighting the ship's scarred interior. Alex's hands gripped the armrests so hard his knuckles turned white. Lyra lay slumped in her seat, her breathing shallow, silver blood pooling under her. The ship's lights flickered weakly, the heartbeat of the bond growing slower, fainter. Stay with me, Alex said, his voice breaking. Don't you quit. On me now. Her eyes opened just enough to meet his. If the ship dies, I die, and if I die, so will you. He swallowed hard. Then we're both making it out of this. The warlord's cruiser loomed ahead like a dark god. To weapons. Pulsed, charging for the killing shot. The smaller hunters spread out, boxing them in from all sides. The bond buzzed in Alex's chest, weak but still alive. He could feel the ship's pain, the cracks in its living hull, the fading strength in its core. Tell me what to do. Alex said quickly, how do I fix this? Lyra's voice was barely a whisper. You can give it life, but the life must come from you. He froze. You mean? My life? Her lips curved faintly. The bond can heal the heart if the keeper gives enough of themselves. But it is dangerous. Dangerous how? You may not survive. Alex looked at the flickering panels, the darkened walls, the shadow of the warlord's cruiser growing larger by the second. He thought of the battle in the asteroid field, the slipstream chase. The first time he saw Lyra's glowing eyes in the shadows of the ship. For the first time since this all began. He realized he wasn't thinking about getting rid of the ship. Anymore, he wasn't thinking about going back to his old life. If he walked away, there would be no old life left. Not for him. Not for anyone the warlord found next. He took a deep breath. Tell me how. Lyra's eyes locked on his, the faintest spark of hope there. Sit at the heart. Place your hands on it. Do not let go. He ran through the corridor, his boots thudding against the floor. The chamber with the floating crystal sphere, the ship's heart glowed faintly. Its light dimmer than before. Alex stepped forward. The sphere's surface was cold now, its slow rotation struggling to continue. All right, buddy, Alex muttered. Let's do this. He pressed his palms against it. The connection slammed into him like fire. The bond wasn't a hum now, it was a roaring river, pulling his strength, his breath, his heartbeat into the ship. Visions flooded his mind. He saw Lyra's world, green skies and silver seas. He saw Kale, the last keeper, falling in battle. He saw the warlords rise, his fleet burning planets to ash, and then he saw himself standing in the auction hall, raising his hand like it meant nothing. Only now he understood. The ship had been watching. Choosing Dot, the bond pulled harder. His chest ached, his breathing ragged. The sphere's light grew stronger, its pulse syncing with his own. Somewhere far away, he heard Lyra's voice. "Hold on, Alex. Just a little longer." The ship roared back to life. The walls brightened, the hum deepened into a steady, powerful rhythm. In the cockpit, weapons reactivated, shields flared to full strength. Alex staggered back from the heart, gasping for air. His vision blurred, but he felt the ship's strength flowing again through him, around him. Like they were one being. Lyra was on her feet when he returned to the cockpit. Her wounds were closing, her eyes bright again. "You did it." "Yeah," he panted, sinking into his seat. "Now, let's finish this." The warlord's cruiser fired its main weapon. A massive beam of red energy tore through space toward them. Alex and Lyra moved as one. The ship twisted at impossible speed, the beam missing by inches. In the same motion, they dove toward the cruiser. Slipping under its armor plating. "Strike the heart," Lyra said. Her voice like steel. Alex guided the ship's living tendrils into the cruiser's underside. The ship's weapons flared, sending organic plasma deep into the warlord's core. The explosion tore through the flagship, ripping it apart from the inside. The smaller hunters scattered, their formation broken. Without the cruiser's command, they drifted aimlessly before jumping to hyperspace. Silence returned. This time, it felt different. Alex slumped back, every muscle aching. "We did it." Lyra sat beside him, her silver hair catching the light from the stars. "We survived. But this is not the end." He gave a tired laugh. "Yeah, I figured you'd say that." The ship's hum shifted again, not urgent, not wounded, but calling. Alex frowned. "You feel that?" Lyra nodded slowly. "The gate of dawning knows the bond is awake now. It calls to us, and I'm guessing we can't just ignore it." Her gaze held his. "Not unless you want the galaxy to burn." Alex looked out at the stars ahead. They didn't seem as empty anymore. They seemed like a path. He tightened his grip on the controls. "All right then, let's see where this road takes us." The ship turned, its engines flaring bright. And together they vanished into the black, toward the call and whatever waited beyond.